So I get asked a lot about that team in 2004 when we won in Tel Aviv. And, what are the special ingredients? What does it take, or whatever? What was so special about that team? And it's always, people want one or two things, and it's always so hard to try to answer in one or two things, like what was so great about that team. But for me, it's hard to articulate everything. I think I can best sum it up by saying all the members of that team, when we went to wherever else we went, we always say, it's just not like in Maccabi. It's just not like in Maccabi.
Same problem.
On the court, off the court, it's not like in Maccabi. And I think we had a bunch of guys that were smart, that loved to play, that were selfless, that played for each other. We wanted each other to succeed. And I think the relationships that we had off the court carried over on the court. And obviously, the hunger and the desire to play well. We had people that were smart enough to bring those kind of players to the team and put us in a system that was just, everybody talks about how fun it was to watch us. People that, it's so sad that people that are like 30 years old come up to me and say, listen, I watched you guys when I was a kid. I watched you when I was 8 years old. I'm like, oh my goodness. But, Coach Blatt and Coach Penny were the ones that put us in that system. And it was, I always go back to that time as far as like, what basketball really is. You see a lot of these teams running the exact same plays
without the work. Yes, you do.
To varied results.
I know. I remember. I want to pass it. I didn't pass the ball. I get this. I see the same play, same motion, but it's not finishing the same.
Not the same.
I remember, and what I remember most about that team, particularly with the perspective that I have now of being, in other places and being in the NBA is, they talk a lot about big twos and big threes, okay? And we had a big three. We had Charas, we had Nikola, and we had Anthony. But what made that team so special was all the guys around the big three. I mean, we had great role players, we had great defensive players, we had great passers, we had great substitutes, we had great chemistry guys, we had great, Anthony said it before, great basketball IQs guys, and the fact that team was so deep in terms of its willingness to sacrifice and to play the right way and play in that system and play for the big three and let the big three feed them and for them to feed off of them. I think that was the thing that made that such a unique group, and of course that carried over till 2005 as well, when you won it again in Moscow, and that team was driving itself at that point. Well, of course, Penny was still there and doing a great job, but the team just had such incredible IQ and chemistry and knew how to play.
It was really fun, and what I remember the most, it's actually everywhere we go together, outside of the court we came together with wives, and wives are all together, friends, all the parties. We were living 24/7 all that period, and when I recall my back that time, actually I never heard in the team that somebody say why I don't get the ball, why I don't shoot, why I don't this. That wasn't never was the subject of our talks. All the times and for me it was most impressive. All our meetings, team meetings between ourselves, was last like 5 minutes. After that, I see meetings they're like 2 hours. They're discussing. We were downstairs. What's the problem? Okay, what's the solution? Let's talk. Go to David and Pini to solve the problem. And that's make us all this. We really all the group was thinking in the same direction, and it was set up here. Like you said, it was 3-4 players that they were pulling it, but all guys behind us. That Derek was coming in 37th minute of the game and going to steal 2 balls and jump on the ball and score 3-point shots, and you win the game. It depends on the guys from the bench, and make us really like some group that we enjoy to come. We also after some time get the feeling. People used to say that the other teams used to come to Nokia with the sign of -20 when they come to the parking. And after some time, actually, we get this confidence. We get this time. We're coming to the court. We're going to blow them up. We give our best. Amazing crowd, amazing atmosphere. It was really, really something that, on one way, every time after that I went to play in Olympiacos, and I had a great time there, also 2 Final Fours. But all the time I missed something that I tried to transfer it from that team, and I just couldn't wherever I goes after, because again, after sometimes you realize actually there's something unique. It says to be really, really fit. There's such old staff. Our staff was amazing. With the coaches, with you, with Pini, you could talk with everybody, and we were all same directions. It was, of course, and also coaching staff that I found also amazing that time were so adjustable to us. Because you set up offense. After we run a few times, we see something different. We go to you, say, guys, listen, maybe this. You see it. Let's try. Excellent. Let's do it. And it was very flexible, very, very unique. After sometimes you can really see unique. That's why we did this unique result.
Yeah, I would just add, like, to your point with the coaches, like allowing to getting players to buy in. You give them a little bit of ownership, and you and Penny really gave us a lot of ownership. We all felt invested. Like, if we saw something, like you said, we could go to you guys, and maybe you guys decided to do it, maybe you didn't, but we felt like we were all going the same direction. And that's something special. You guys have to have the trust in us to do it. So you have to bring certain players that you respect enough to be able to give that responsibility. And then as coaches, I think on this side of working with the Magic and learning the game in a whole different way, there's a certain level of confidence that you have to be able to say, okay, we'll try it your way, as a coach. And that was, hats off to you guys for that, because that was, you guys set up the system that allowed us to operate in that, and we, played and danced within that system. But, it's just not like in Maccabi. We always tried to, the zone defense. When it was 55.
25.
Was it 25?
25, 55.
I think it was 55. We always
had
held up
few of
55.
them.
And we'd yell Vegas and go man to man. Like, I'm like, every team I went to, I'm like, listen, we're gonna go zone for like the first. Every team has 2 zones. We're gonna go zone, and then we're gonna switch to man.
Actually, I have to say something about this zone that helped me when I started my career as a sport director. But I started in split, and in a small team. But I had a group of guys very smart, almost finished career. So I took them one time for a drink. I took the piece of paper and I explained how we play in this 25 zone. To make long story short, we were qualified to Adriatic League, and just because of this, people were yelling zone, we were yelling man, nobody knows what they say. Suddenly Vegas, somebody yelling Vegas. People say, what is this now? Suddenly this zone. So we qualified with this zone to Adriatic League.
I'm gonna give the world the secret now.
Give it to me.
The secret is not what you're doing. It's the confusion that you cause your opponent in the midst of the battle that forces them out of doing the things that they want to do. Now, how you develop that and how far and how deeply you go with it, and we went pretty deep, but the main thing was we were ahead of the curve in terms of confusing people, and then taking that confusion and making it work to our advantage with a whole lot of very deep thinking, but
And I realized all this legacy, everything started with one amazing play. The coaches did an unbelievable play. And only one play created all this. That inbound of Burshalev to Trav.
What I often...
That was the best offense coaches ever drove.
Listen, but seriously though, we sit back here and we're surrounded by all these pictures and, the great team and everything. Without that shot, are we sitting here?
Great question.
Are we sitting here? Is every member of that team?
But I think you will find throughout all of history, there is that one defining moment that creates legends, and that one defining moment is not the thing that necessarily is planned or scripted or designed. It's a moment in time when something happens, and you can call it, this, or you can call it divine intervention, you can call it well-practiced fundamentals, you can call it understanding of space and circumstance, but that one moment, sometimes history tilts on that one defining moment, and that's very much the case. The pass and the shot by Derek.
And Gore became the best.
And more than that, and Nico telling the referee that Uncle Beer's going to step in early. These are things that there's more to it than just the pass. You know what I mean?
This is really. First of all,
nobody understands everything that went into it.
All right.
yes. First of all, it's you know, you have to understand that last minute, my thoughts last minute was like this. We are up, watching up, we are -7, 46 something seconds to
Right.
go. And I'm standing on the free throw line there and I'm thinking, where am I going to run? If I take airplane now, taking my wife with me or go without my wife? How to escape? Where's the best exit?
And I was thinking the same thing on the bench because I was fouled out.
Yes.
Anthony was out of the game. That's
So,
right.
You know, thinking this kind of things, you know, what will happen. But suddenly we are score some end one, I think, Shara.
Shars.
Okay, hold on. But before you go to that, when I foul out, I didn't think I had 4 fouls. So I go to Derek. I'm like, Derek, let me foul. I only got 4 fouls. I didn't want Derek to foul out. I go over there, foul him. And then if you watch the video, you can see me like, I'm out. Like, I'm looking up like, I'm out. And so I go sit down. So it's Derek stays in the game. I foul out. Now, if it had been reversed, I missed the shot and, you know.
Yeah, but before that, when you fouled, what was the guy's name? Went to the foul line. He had made 90% of his free throws, 15 in a row. What was his name, Nico?
Okay, go for it.
I should remember his name.
Before that, we scored this basket. We have a defense. Suddenly, David blew like 15. No, before this, before foul, it's like 6-7 seconds to go. Open on 3-point shots, shot airball.
Right.
David blew, didn't shoot all career, 1 airball. Okay, shoot airball. I was under the basket, scored the basket.
Right.
Then we foul with this.
Right.
On the way back, of course, Charas got 5th foul and go to shake the hands of all the bench.
Gave the game away.
Guys, thank you, everybody.
2.2 seconds left.
And on the way back, Belosevic, the Serbian referee, was under the basket, and I'm telling him, okay, can you call him one time this step inside 2 balls he took me today in the game? He told me, okay, if you come in, I call. I said, okay. So, of course, I stand on this side and I make a little bit fake because he was all time. And he just jumped in and he called. I said, okay, now you call when we lost. So, after that, this inbound of the...
But see,
he
that
give us
doesn't
time also
happen.
to set up everything.
That doesn't happen if, like, let's say he misses that free throw. We have 2.2 seconds
it's
left
finished.
to catch it and throw the ball up. And
Exactly, but they also missed the guy that before that scored like 17 or 17, something.
it was 15 or 17 from the free throw line.
Yeah,
He misses 2.
Yeah, and he missed 2. And I remember, you know, after that.
First of all, we celebrated that night unlike any night, even after the EuroLeague
Sure.
championship.
Well, because you knew there was no way we were going to lose at that point.
We
you
went
know.
all in the club.
Where did we go? I can't remember.
Lemon, something like this.
Oh,
Emirates
my
was the
goodness.
club. I remember I have only one. Bruno Schundo was with us.
Yes.
And of course, we get everybody drunk. It's not like Sports Live because we just don't know what to do. We throw it out ourselves.
Right.
And a friend of mine, was driving the car on the street, and I put him limit on 40 kilometers per hour because we were dead. You know, if 40 kilometers per hour, if you hit something, okay, you're alive. So I was smacking him all the time if you go more under 40. And in the road, suddenly I see the car, it's coming 45 kilometers per hour next to us. Anthony like this, standing like this, and Anthony! He's like this, let me come home.
Oh,
So I don't know, we came
I'm going
home.
just as slow as you guys.
And Bruno Schundo sitting behind on A3
He's
Audi with the
7'4".
hands behind the leg because couldn't fit.
I remember well too. The day after, you know, I came to Penny and I said, Penny, listen, man. I mean, that was unbelievable, but we got to beat 2 good teams to win the Final Four. And Penny, in his typical fashion, bravado, he said, "Are you kidding me? There is no way in hell anyone is beating us after that game. You can forget it. You can do your scouting. You can do your talking." He said, "Forget it. Nobody's going to beat us." That was his confidence, and that was a part of it too, and he was right.
No, that
He was
Final
absolutely
Four-
right.
That Final Four I remember so good. Everything was like
We beat 2 good teams too.
2 good
We were
teams.
down, what, 10-12 to Cheska?
To Cheska, we beat 2 good teams. Penny said, "Don't worry,
And,
nothing's going to stop us from taking this," and he was right.
Then Savchenko coming in, 3 fouls, 6 free throws, and we up,
Sure.
going back. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah. And final, of course, it came
the 90s
Cleveland with
Bulls.
Coach Blood. Cleveland with Coach Blood, they looked with us.
No,
magical that
nobody was going to beat us that night. That's for
night.
sure.
This was unbelievable feeling. You come in, when we entered the warm-up, I had a feeling like this.
I got goosebumps right
You know what I'm
I
thinking
had a
about?
feeling like hydraulically all the fans come like on us like this, standing and the atmosphere was unbelievable.
There was a glow
Oh, yeah.
on that court.
63, 45
Incredible.
was halftime, something, 35.
I don't remember.
It was like,
You know, and it's funny because, you know, I left after that year, and you guys, of course, had the great accomplishment in Cheska, in Moscow the next year. But I got to think, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think there was probably no other moment in the history of Maccabi, with the exception perhaps of the first Maccabi championship, that things were that perfect, you know, that everything was just, you know, that was that moment in time where everything came together, and the whole season was like that. And that crowning moment of a 44-point victory where every play was beautiful and every rotation was perfect and every pass was on time and on the spot. I can't imagine a more perfect game than that one. I really can't.
Moment of this game, we were up like already. Game finished like 6-7 minutes to go, and
Oh, it finished long before that. For 6-7 minutes in the first quarter, you mean?
yeah, no, but I remember end of the game, and last quarter we sit outside, and coach put other players to play, and secretly we put the shirts. Remember, we are the champions. They put the shirts over this. Pini was somebody make mistake, get medal, go in, and we put like these shirts. The champions. Nobody can come in. That's it, coach. Finish.
That's it, we're done.
We're done. Remember, it was
The champions, yeah, that was. I think what people don't realize, looking back on those teams, they think, oh, we were always good. I don't think we were favored in any of those years going into the year. Like I thought maybe Cheska or Barcelona, like
Cheska didn't lose.
that was the Moscow.
That was Moscow, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't
But again,
going into the. So we weren't favored that year. I don't think we were favored in 2004 neither. Cheska had another great year. Barcelona was coming off of their championship in 2003. But you know, we found a way to get it done, and it's interesting how we look back at